John Cena by Michael Sandler. Let's go Cena. John Cena had come a long way. As a young wrestler in 2001, he competed in tiny gyms where nobody knew his name. Now, 10 years later, he was standing in a huge arena. Thousands of fans were chanting, "Let's go Cena!" By 2011, John had held the WWE Championship 9 times. Another win would give him a record 10th championship. John Cena in the ring before a match in 2009. John was already excited even before the crowd began cheering for him. The WWE Championship was at stake. John had once held it, but now it belonged to his opponent, Alberto Del Rio. John was determined to win the title back. Early in the match, however, John struggled. Alberto pounded him with kicks to the ribs and chest. Would John be able to turn the match around? Alberto, shown here, and John's match took place as part of the WWE's Night of Champions in Buffalo, New York on September 18, 2011. The 10th title. In the ring, John never gave up. Using all the strength in his 6'1", 1.85 meter, 251 pound, 114 kilogram body, he took control of the match. He hammered Alberto with powerful shoulder blocks and unleashed a deadly leg drop. He also showed off the power bomb, lifting Alberto above his head and dropping him to the canvas. John performing a leg drop. Finally, he locked Alberto up in the unbreakable STF, step over toe hold face lock. Alberto had no choice. He tapped out. The match was over, and for a record 10th time, John Cena was the WWE champion. In an STF, John traps one of the other wrestler's legs between his own. Then, pressing down on his opponent's back, John locks both his arms around his opponent's head. John holds up the WWE Championship belt. The Skinny Kid. When John was growing up in West Newbury, Massachusetts, people would never have guessed that he would one day become a wrestler. As a kid, John was really skinny. He didn't look like a tough guy. Neighborhood kids often gave him a hard time. They picked on John because of his size and because he seemed different. He didn't dress like everyone else and liked hip-hop instead of rock music. Sometimes, bigger kids would try to beat him up. Finally, John had enough. To protect myself, remembers John, I started lifting weights. John was born on April 23, 1977, in West Newbury, Massachusetts. When John first started lifting weights in 7th grade, he worked out every day on a weight bench his dad had bought him. Soon after, he started going to a gym to lift weights for an even better workout. West Newbury is a town in Massachusetts that is home to more than 4,000 people. John played football in high school at Cushing Academy. Becoming strong. As John continued lifting weights, he grew bigger and stronger. Soon, he was no longer a skinny kid. By age 16, John was packing 215 pounds, 98 kilograms, of muscle. He worked out all the time. He even continued his workouts after graduating from high school and attending Springfield College in Massachusetts. John used his size and strength to play center for the Springfield College Pride football team. A skilled player, he was even named to an All-American team. Over the years, John has spent countless hours in the gym, getting into the best shape possible. After graduating from high school, John attended Springfield College in Massachusetts. In college, John studied exercise physiology, phys-e-ology, which is the study of how the body works. Doing so taught him how to make his body even stronger. As he studied and exercised, his passion for weightlifting slowly turned into a dream. He wanted to become a champion bodybuilder. Bodybuilders spend many hours a day training. Former bodybuilder Arnold Schwarzenegger, shown here, used to train for 4 to 6 hours a day. Discovering wrestling. After graduating from college in the late 1990s, John decided to head to Venice Beach, California, where many of the best bodybuilders trained. One day, while working out in a Venice gym, he met a student from a wrestling school called Ultimate Pro Wrestling. As a kid, John had always liked wrestling. The classes the student told John about sounded exciting. John decided to give them a try. Venice, California is famous for bodybuilding on the beach. John quickly discovered that he not only enjoyed being in the ring, but was good at the sport too. About 1 year later, WWE talent scouts spotted John wrestling at the school. Impressed with his strength and wrestling ability, they asked him to join the WWE. In 2001, the WWE sent John to a school in Louisville, Kentucky, to improve his wrestling skills. There, he had his first wrestling matches as part of Ohio Valley Wrestling. Hulk Hogan, shown here, is one of John's childhood wrestling heroes. The big time. By 2002, John was ready for his first televised WWE match. John wrestled hard, but his more experienced opponent, Kurt Angle, pinned him for the win. John wasn't discouraged. He knew this was just the beginning. Kurt Angle left in action in 2005. As John wrestled more and more, he quickly gained fans. People loved the way he would grab the announcer's microphone to rap to the crowd before a match began. They also loved his wrestling skills. Moves such as the attitude adjustment and the 5-knuckle shuffle became crowd favorites that filled his opponents with fear. The attitude adjustment is one of the moves that John likes to use to finish a match. To perform this move, he lifts his opponent onto his shoulders behind his head and then flips him down onto the mat. John with the microphone during a match in 2009. John performs the attitude adjustment on fellow wrestler Big Show. A big match. About 2 years into his WWE career, John got a chance to wrestle for a title. At 7 feet, 2.1 meters tall, and more than 450 pounds, 204 kilograms, his opponent, Big Show, looked more like a mountain than a man. Though John was 6 feet 1.85 meters, and weighed more than 240 pounds, 109 kilograms, Big Show made him look tiny. Still, John had no fear. He attacked Big Show with tornado-like force, wearing out his giant foe. To finish the match, John lifted Big Show high overhead and tossed him to the mat. Then, he jumped on top of Big Show for the pin. Big Show. John lifting Big Show over his head. John's win over Big Show at WrestleMania 20 in March 2004 earned him the WWE's United States Championship. John shows off his WWE United States Championship belt after defeating Big Show at WrestleMania 20. Title after title. In 2005, John set his eyes on an even bigger